the notice of redress of grievance, leaving the people with no way to for redress except for actions like what we have done. And this is a problem, and we must understand that we are a federalist structure of government. And that does not mean that the federal government has all the power and we're all subsidiaries to it. A federalist form of government is a system of government in which each level of government checks and balances each other. That it becomes the duty of the federal government to check and balance the county and the state. It becomes the duty of the state to check and balance the county and the federal government, and it becomes the duty of the county to check and balance the federal government and the state. And in this case, we have incidents where the county understood that there was people that were needing protection, and instead of taking their role as a check and balance against the federal government, they collaborated with them. And we are all better off. We are all more protected as a people if these checks and balances among each level of government exist, and exist strongly. There will be more evidences that are to come. We believe that we have enough of this to exonerate the Hammonds, and we're very grateful for that. And if anything is accomplished out of that, if that is the only thing that is accomplished, then it will be well worth our effort in the actions that we have taken. So, with that being said, I will take some questions, and then we'll go from there.
The ideas behind the land transfer have found support across the West, from Oregon to Montana to Utah. I'm just wondering if you've heard from any of the lawmakers and legislators across the West who have introduced bills to do exactly what you're trying to raise awareness about today.
Absolutely.
And who are some of those folks?
We have, well, I guess I could say several of them. We have a Matt Shea. We have, as you are probably heard at the Congress, Congressman Walden, and I am not as versed as I probably should be with the other names, but those are some leading names of individuals that understand this very well, understand that the land and the resources were never intended to be in federal control, and that because of this unconstitutional control and entitlement at the federal level, there needs to be an unwinding of that, and that the land titles need to be transferred back to the people.
Congressman Walden, on the floor of the House of Representatives, referred and spoke of this potentially being a constitutional crisis. Do you believe that this is a constitutional crisis other than anything else that they've been trying to call it?
Well, anytime you have a family that has been abused the way the Hammonds, and you have a community that has been abused the way they've been abused, and ends up in prison, end up spending hundreds of thousands of dollars in their defense, they have to pay fines, they were forced to sign a right of first refusal over to the Bureau of Land Management on their end, and also they're under restrictions where they cannot purchase or sell anything more than $500 without permission from the U.S. government. I would say yes, that is a constitutional crisis, absolutely.
Does that also include the absence of the sheriff, with the sheriff being the highest law enforcement authority?
He needs to be protecting those people, not collaborating with other entities. His oath of office is to protect the people from foreign and domestic threats. Foreign and domestic. Yes.
Bundy implies with some recent tweets, you don't want an armed standoff, you want this to end peacefully. But what are you thinking? Are you worried that the federal government is going to come in at this time? There's some charges that may be filed against you?
Well, first of all, I don't have a tweet account, but from what I hear, he's actually doing a pretty good job. So just to make that clear, no, it's not. But I haven't read all of them, so I don't really know. But there becomes a time when people are ignored to the point where they're frustrated. They don't know what else to do. They see an injustice, but all levels of government are ignoring that, and the prudent methods of basically are not allowed to the people. And that is when the people have a right to take a hard stand. And that is what we did. And that is why you're here. That is why people are listening now. And that is the right of the people to do. They are to do it peacefully, and we have done it peacefully. They are to do it without violence, and we have done it without violence. And we continue to do so.
When you say those townspeople are saying, we largely agree with what you have to say about the federal government, but you've made your point, so go home.
Well, there is a time to go home. We recognize that. We don't feel it's quite time yet. We feel like we need to make sure that the Hammonds are out of prison or well on their way. We need to make sure that there is some teeth in these land transfers, and also that those who have committed crimes can be those are exposed as well.
So when is that time? I mean, you've made your point. You're being watched around the world. You've gotten the big stage. When do you say enough's enough?
Was CNN here when the ranchers were here in support last night at midnight?
When enough is enough. Enough is enough when there's actual action that is happening, and when things are actually transpiring, and we'll know when that happens. And thank you for your question. That's a good question.
The Paiutes held a press conference a couple hours ago. They said that basically this land was really theirs originally. Have you talked to the tribes? What do you think about and they also would like you to visit the home?
Okay. I really don't know much about that, so that is interesting, and they have rights as well. I would like to see them be free from the federal government as well. They're controlled and regulated by the federal government very tightly, and I think they have a right to be free like everybody else. So.
Did you say how many people you have here, and have you had an increase throughout the week?
We have definitely had an increase throughout the week, and we're still not acknowledging how many people are here.
Why?
Just with security reasons for them. We have an obligation to keep them safe as well, and I'm very grateful for them and their commitment to be here and to stand. And some of them come clear across the country and are here because they believe what we're doing is correct and right. Thank you very much.
They're not going to retaliate against me and my land because I don't have any. So just tell the truth, dude. Please. This is you have to convey the truth. So don't chop it up.
Yeah, it's up.
Y'all can email me.
It's going to be okay.
It's going to be all right. It's going to be okay. Where's MSNBC? Let me go. Hey, come on.
I'll talk to you.
Let me go. I'm going to go bomb his live shot. I'll be right back. Do you want to go on camera with me? You want to do an interview?
With you after this?
Yeah.
I'll do that if I do this and then come over to you.
Yeah.
That work for you?
That'd be great.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.